Today we're going to be making a lidded jar as a closed form on the pottery wheel. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, don't worry. I'm going to walk you through the whole process. And if you like pottery content, please subscribe. It really helps my channel. All right, let's get started. Now we're gonna make the lidded jar on the pottery wheel. There's a few different ways to make lidded jars, but I'm gonna show you how to do it as a closed form. And a closed form is just a sealed off piece of pottery that's hollow on the inside. And then later we're gonna cut off the lid so that it'll be like a perfect match. Let's get started. So you can make whatever size jar you want. I'm gonna make a smaller jar. It's gonna be about this big. And I just have 12 ounces of clay here, and I'm gonna throw it down and get started. All right, so I'm gonna center my pot, just pulling up and down. This will also get the air bubbles out, hopefully. It's pretty good. I've got my side bucket, which I throw all the messy slop in. This is gonna keep my water bin much more clean, and then I'll use this later as slip. All right, time to open it up. Leaving a decent bottom there, not too thin. Compressing my bottom, pulling towards me. Okay, now it's time to pull up the walls. I'm gonna pull the walls pretty high, and it's gonna be higher than the finished piece because you'll see we're gonna cone in and close it off. So the first top portion will be the lid. So I'm gonna pull extra tall to account for that. Going in for another pull. I love these jars. I keep them out in my kitchen because they look so cute and they're functional. But yeah, you can put whatever you want in them. This one's gonna be a sugar jar, but you could put spices or salt, anything that you access a lot in the kitchen. I'm gonna put a little foot on the side. This is my tool from Garrity. It's just a flat side and then a little curve. You'll see it makes a really cute little foot. If you don't have that tool, this wooden rib works great as well. And I still use it just to clean up the sides. All right, we got all that out of the way. Now it's time to close the form. So we're gonna be coning it in. I'm gonna use the inside of my thumb and pointer finger on both hands and very slowly bring it in. I'm gonna get my hands wet. You really don't wanna rush this move, take time, or else it'll get all wonky. So little by little, and I'm gonna start about 1/3-ish of the way down and close it in. Little by little, we're gonna make our way in. This is your last chance to get any moisture out of the bottom of the pot. We don't wanna have sitting water in there. So I'm gonna use my sponge on a stick. If you don't have a fancy one like this, it's totally fine. You can just cut off a section of a round sponge and use a rubber band and put it on the end of a stick like a chopstick or something like that. Okay, now I'm just gonna use my fingers as I'm getting in closer. Kind of pretending to pull up the sides. It's okay if it's a little uneven, we'll clean it up and make it look nice. Almost there. Okay, I'm gonna close this off and I'm gonna actually pull off the excess clay. Perfect. And then I like to kind of come in and taper the knob so it has like a more defined shape. I'm gonna call that good for now. You can take as much time as you need to shape the knob to your perfect ideal shape. Some of them come fast, some of them just need a little extra love. Now we're gonna go ahead and wire it off. And I'm gonna set this aside to dry. It's gonna dry to the leather hard phase, and that's when we are going to wanna trim it, and we will also attach a little loop on the side, which we can put a spoon in. All right, Nacho, should we tell them what we're gonna do next? I wanna do a little loop on the side of the sugar dish so that I can put a wooden spoon to scoop it out with. Here's the wooden spoon I have. You can get these at like craft stores. There's a few different shapes and sizes, but I think this one's gonna be perfect for what I need it for. So this is gonna be similar to pulling mug handles. I have water and a little ball of clay, and I kind of shape it into a little rounded triangle. This top I can hold with my hand and then get ready to pull with the other. So dipping into my water, pulling down on the clay, and I'm gonna make these loops thinner than you would a mug handle because the spoon is so small and dainty, so I don't want like a really thick little holder. I want it to be like thinner than a mug handle. All right, it pulled off, that's fine. So now I'm gonna use this bat and just put my little loops on here to dry. I always make extras just so I can pick and choose my favorite. So I'm just doing like a little rainbow shape. Feel like I'm doing tiny pottery. How did the hair get in there, Nacho? Another loop. I'm gonna let these dry to leather hard, and then when it's time to trim the jar, we will attach those at the same time. All right, it's time to trim now. I'm gonna be using my Giffen grip today to help me out. So I'm gonna put my shortest little feet in there. Okay. And then here is our form, which we are going to trim. I'm gonna get that nice and snug. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off the lid. So we're gonna use our pin tool and let's get started. I have this hand here ready to catch the lid. You wanna make sure you stay very controlled and in the same spot so that we get a nice clean cut. And you'll hear once the seal breaks, there'll be a little bit of like a pop, and then you know you've cut all the way around and you can pull up the lid. Getting there. I feel it. Ooh. All right, now it's off. I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit. I'm gonna use a smaller trimming tool and just gently trim around the top here and get off those crusties, holding it down with my other hand so it's stable. And I'm not going that fast because I'm just lightly holding this down. You wanna make sure you don't trim off too much because we still want the lid to fit right. A little bit on the outside, that's all right. Pretty good. And then just a lightly damp sponge is good to just clean it up. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna set that aside for now. Now I'm gonna trim the interior a little bit. Same thing, just getting off kind of the rough spots. Gently holding it down so it's stable. And then I'll do the outside too. Clean it up with your sponge. Okay. Still fits, right? Sometimes I'll push it back down to just like get it comfy. All right, and then I'm gonna do a quick trim on the bottom. Dump out whatever's in there. Okay, flip it over. I'm just gonna do a flat bottom. No fancy foot or anything. My wider trimming tool makes this part go really fast. Beautiful. And then just with my smaller tool, a quick clean. I already have kind of a nice foot design. I'm just gonna get off the rough bits. Gorgeous. I use my fingers a lot just to smooth too. Okay, time to stamp my initials on the bottom so you know that I made it. Take it out. Put it back together. And you might have to like spin it around to find out like how it wants to sit. Okay, so now we're gonna attach our little loop, which is gonna be the holder for our little wooden spoon that's gonna sit in the side of the sugar dish. So we have these little loops that we've pulled. So I'm gonna pick which one I think will be best. I think I like this one. So I'll put it on the side here, see how it looks. I'm gonna cut off a bit. That's way too big. My little knife tool, just guessing. I think that's gonna be great. We're gonna score and slip. So I've got my little score tool here, gonna rough up this side, and then also where it's gonna sit. So about here and here. Now we bring our giant bucket of slip, and I'm just gonna scoop off a little bit. I don't want the super wet stuff, like a little bit more firm. Good. This is our glue that's gonna keep it all together. And then I'll pop it on. I'll do a quick test with my little spoon to make sure that it fits. And then just remember, it is gonna shrink about 11 or 12%. So I think I should still have plenty of room for this. Okay, now it's time to just blend and clean this up so it's nice and smooth and secure. Just have my little wooden blending tool to help me out, same as you would a mug handle. And then I'm just gonna use a damp brush to clean it all up. Then of course, once we get the glaze on this, you won't even be able to see the seam at all. It'll be pretty flawless. All right, now this will dry out. It will get bisque fired, glazed, and fired for the second time, and then I will show you the finished result. And here we have our finished lidded jar. Here's what the lid looks like. And then I have a little place on the side to put our spoon. And you can fill it with whatever you want. I'm gonna fill mine with sugar. And then while I'm at it, I'm just gonna make a cup of coffee. Add some sugar. Delicious. Thanks so much for hanging out today and watching my video. The next step in the process is glazing. If you want to learn more about that, I have a really great video right here. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button.